We just want to bring your attention to part of our focus this morning on scholar transport. Transport Minister Barbarra Creezy conducting a short while ago a scholar transport blitz in Lenasia, that's in the south of Johannesburg. The blitz follows the deaths of pupils in the Vaal who passed away after a crash when their minibus taxi collided with a truck. The incident once again putting a spotlight on the safety of scholar transport in the country. In the latest, as you can see on the breaking news on the side of your screen there, 2 more pupils have sadly died, pushing the death toll from that incident to 14. SABC News reporter Neria Hlakotsha is keeping a close eye on the vicinity where this blitz, I understand, was conducted near a short while ago. That's where we also learned of the arrest of another driver who had more than 20 children in one car.
Good morning to you, Ayanda. Definitely the blitz is still underway here in Lenasia. What I can tell you from the stats themselves, at least 67 minibus taxis and scholar transport have been impounded so far. And we are also hearing that at least 3 drivers were arrested. Among other issues, or some of the reasons that they were arrested, was the issue of excessive overloading. So these are the stats that just have come in during this morning's blitz. But right now, you can also see that some of these operators, the scholar transport operators, are gathering here, of course, just sharing their different views on the situation. I will tell you that when we speak to some of them, they are happy about the blitz itself. They are happy about the police being visible on the roads. But their biggest issue is that of those drivers' permits. They're arguing that the permits themselves have been taking long for them to acquire, and now they find themselves in a sticky situation. You know, the minister earlier on did speak, Ayanda, about that issue of some of these transports not being adequate, or some of these transport just being not roadworthy more than anything. But I want to bring in Felicia, who is one of the scholar transport drivers here in Lenasia. Felicia, I think you can join us right now. Let's just speak about your issues. You know, Felicia Ayanda was telling us, of course, about how she is still struggling to get that permit to basically ferry school children. Felicia, thank you so much for your time. I'm seeing you here with the rest of the scholar transport drivers, and we can see also the sting operations. What are some of your concerns with regards to this?
Our concern to regards to this is that we get the permit. We can't find the permit because of why? Because there are so many things. When we go to the offices, really apply the permit. Yes, we were told the permit last year for all the associations. So they say that you cannot go there only it's a permit alone. You must come only under a certain association. We do have associations here in Lent, and then when you go there, they say you must be under an association, and the association must do a group a permit. We went there, but up to now we have not received those rests, because that's the only thing that they need here. They did tell us about the vehicle what you call right, the PDP license and everything, and overloads. Yes, we have been taught advice, but now today when they come and then now they are telling us what the permit, which we are still working on them.
But let's talk about your transportation itself. Is it still roadworthy, perhaps? And do you have that permit that allows you to drive passengers?
I don't have. My car, first of all, my car is roadworthy. I have a PDP, I have a driver's license. But the only thing that I don't have is this, I have a PDP. The only thing that I don't have is the permit that I'm explaining Ubuti right now. I cannot receive that permit because now we are still waiting for the department to give us those permits. Last time we did ask, can't you give us maybe a letter that will state that no, we are still in a process of this, so that when they stop us, then we can be able to produce that, no, here is the proof that we are still waiting for the rest. No, they didn't give us that. So, yeah, my car is roadworthy, everything is right. I'm only stuck with this permit. Yes.
Thank you so much for your time, Felicia. Those are the views on the ground, Ayanda, basically from the drivers. I did try to speak to some of them, but they are a bit camera shy at this moment. But I think Petro is also just showing you the blitz itself and the operation still underway. We are told that the police will be here at least until 12 noon, just to ensure that there are cars that are roadworthy on the roads. And you can see that police are impounding these cars, and they are serious about this. And we all know that this comes after that horrific tragedy in Reiger Park. But another issue that has been coming up is, how do you regulate scholar transport, especially that private one? We know that government also offers a scholar transport. The minister was even saying that at least 700,000 pupils nationally, they rely on government-sponsored scholar transport. But the issue remains that of the private scholar transportation that parents decide to use, and that's where the question comes up, that how do you regulate them? How do you ensure that they do pass that benchmark of being roadworthy and being safe for the children? I'm seeing another person as I'm talking to Ayanda, who just wants to add his voice to this issue, as we're seeing police now busy with the sting operation. Thank you so much for your time. Perhaps you are also part of this. You are seeing what is happening here, and your views on this.
My views. Good day. I am Mohammed Suleiman Karodia. I'm based in Lenasia Healthcare. I am part of Parliament as well. Imran Musa is my father. Basically, the model tree.
And maybe perhaps when it comes to the sting operation itself, we are seeing that government is trying to ensure safety on the roads, safety, that drivers at least have proper permits. Do you agree with this operation?
Well, to be honest with you, we were in Sedibeng yesterday, we were in the Vaal yesterday, and the parents are distraught. They're in such mourning that no parallel is to be put forward. With regards to the schools, I stay opposite the school, model primary school, and basically just speaking to the school about forestry and cutting the grass. Almighty made it such that just one visit of mine put everything into action.
Thank you so much for your time. So there's different views here. Everybody wants to have a say, obviously, with regards to this operation itself and what is happening here. We know now that the death toll in the Reiger tragedy has risen, Ayanda, to 14. But, it's still that moment where we want to see how long such operations will last, because this, like the Premier even admitted, this was not the first incident where children lost their lives through accidents from, you can say, scholar transport. So it just remains to be seen at this point how long such operations will continue. But the president was clear, Ayanda, that, government has to go back to the drawing board and make sure that they find a way, especially when it comes to scholar transport, find a way to at least mark them so that everybody knows that these are scholar transports. At least find a way to regulate them so that everybody knows which one is a scholar transport and which one is not. The visuals that you're also seeing, it's some of the drivers deciding to embark on some form of a picket, a protest. I will tell you now that they are moving into the roads. Yes, some of them have expressed that they're very unhappy about their cars being impounded, and the issue of those permits they have been insisting that it takes long for them to get these permits. So one can only imagine that this was likely to happen, especially with the split that police and the Department of Transport is embarking on. You know, one of the people that we spoke to who wanted to speak off camera was saying that the disadvantage about this is that now they're going to lose food on the table. But I think the safety of children in this instance comes first. We will try perhaps to, let me try see if anyone in fact is willing to say anything in this instance, but I can see that most of them are not keen. Mama, tell me, you are part of the drivers that are here, Scholar Transport, I'm saying. So I'm seeing now you are part of this protesting group. What are your concerns, perhaps? Because we can see that this is to ensure that children are safe on the roads and cars, more than anything, do comply.
Yes, ma'am. We get that children, the most important thing is the safety of our children. So what were you saying? You must remember that the metro, they had a meeting with us. And we were told, if they're saying there's an overload, for example, we were told that 2 kids equals 1. But now when they stop you, they tell you we've got a 7-seat. You must be 7 children. They're caring about permits. We understand they want permits. We have applied for a permits. We're waiting the RATU up to respond to us and give us the permits. They're impounding cars for what? Because we understand that the children, they come first. Their safety is the first thing that we want. We get that. But if you get the car is right, like the driver that they just took the car now, everything is right. They checked the car, everything is right. But because she had 10 kids in the car, why are you taking the car? Give her a ticket for overload then. If you complain about 10 kids.
But the issue of overloading, of course, is also another problem. You know, we even have drivers who have since been arrested for that. I think if a car says 14, isn't it only fair to ferry then 14 children?
That's why I'm saying to you, ma'am, we were called Scholar Transport. Metro Police was there. They told us if you have 2 5-year-olds in your car, it equals 1. So if you times that, it equals 2. So meaning it's 14. If I'm driving a 7-seater, meaning it's going to be 14 kids. So if now they come, National comes, they say they don't know anything about that. So now that's the problem.
But then how do you?
That's us.
But then how do you ensure that the children are safe? Because if it's a 7-seater and you put 14, then even the safety belt will not be enough.
No, you must remember the 5-year-olds. They're so tiny. Those are little kids. If you put them in one seat, it's one person. It's like I'm sitting on the chair. But if you got the older ones, then that's overload. Then they must give the driver the what do you call it? The tickets. But today, what we're saying today, we were called on Monday. We went to the meeting, Metro was there. They told us about the PDPs. All cars must have PDPs, the drivers. We have PDPs. They told us about the double disc. Everybody was fixing that. But today, most of the drivers, the cars that have been powdered, it's not about those things that they told us. It's about the overload only. We get that. And you must remember, if the government can assist us, that's why we apply for permits, so we can be assistants. I don't think there's any parent who would want to drive, like I'm a parent. I would never want to drive a car that's not roadworthy. They call it skorokor. So because I don't have money to buy a car, I want to have a taxi. What we're asking them, subsidize us. Help us out, meet us halfway. Because unemployment, it's a problem in this country. We're trying to feed our children also. It's a problem. So the government must intervene and help us.
Thank you so much for your time. A mouthful there, Ayanda, basically, you know, Scholar Transport driver telling us some of the issues, saying that initially they were allowed, if you have a 7-seater, to transport 14 5-year-olds or the tiny children. That is still her claim or allegation, and we are yet to find out about it. But that is the issue also that has been raised, the issue of overloading. But you can hear the sense here that the driver feels that if the children are too young, it's not really overloading because they can all fit in a 7-seater, even though it's 14 of them, you know. So we want to see basically what is going to happen right now and where these Scholar Transport drivers are really heading to after this, or maybe are they they're just raising their concerns whichever best way they can. But like you heard the lady speaking there about the issue of the arrest, saying that one of the drivers was also arrested, and she doesn't understand the reason why the driver this time around is arrested. You must remember those statistics. 3 drivers were arrested for excessive overloading. 67 cars or minibus taxis and scholar transports were impounded during the split operation. It was a surprise one. Drivers were found wanting. Most of them didn't know this would happen. But the issue of permits, once again, coming up here with every interview that we have. Drivers saying they've been applying for them, but they're taking long. But one thing the MEC also spoke about, Ayanda, earlier on, is the issue of scholar transport drivers belonging to associations. You know, when we spoke to some of the associations after this tragic incident, they explained that the beauty of being in an association is that you have a body that you can account to. You have a body that ensures your car is roadworthy, so that at least you must account to someone, and you know that you will be protected and you will be workshopped or guided on how to go about transporting children. This is ongoing. Some of the drivers, I'm guessing they are talking to the police. It is still unclear what they are discussing. I'm just going to try listen about what their concerns are. But let me see if this gentleman can come to us just to give us a view. So Baba Ninjani, siyaphila. Inkinga yini baba nifuna ama permits or kwenza?
Sanbo ukhuluma noThabo iTRO ye Greater Johannesburg. So we are shocked today ukuthi imoto zethu ziyaboshwa and ukuboshwa kwemoto la kukhuluma ngentambo zomusic ze sound. Imoto isendleleni namatayera udrive une license imoto inama-disc bakhuluma nge-permit. So now can somebody from the department afike la azochaza ukuthi le permit laba bawanike bani, because that's another issue that we have not received. We haven't received our permit. They said for us to send these cars ngama-groups lewo siyagree nabo. We sit down with the government. We sit now, we sit down with offices with COJ. We sit with these people, we discuss these issues. We are in this business, we're the most disadvantaged in this business. And they're not doing anything to help us. We said to them, these cars, so when we bought these cars, they were new. So these cars are now old. What are they doing to help us in this business that we're running? So the next thing, we are being targeted. Because of every year, when this year, we have this problem of accident. If you know, you follow it. Every year, accidents. And amazingly, these accidents happen every day, everywhere. We see them every day, but it's not like this. We are being victimized. We're not saying it right, we are against it as well. We don't think it's right. That is a carelessness, but it doesn't have to affect us. License, and they're telling us about the wires. The wires, there's the sound. No, that is not fair. That is not fair. Zinga kimoto la singaya na kupat kona not good enough. The buses are running over here. That's right. We are being harassed by the Department of Education. They are sending buses here to take our business instead of our government to protect us as citizens of South Africa. Instead, they are destroying us like this. It's not fair.
But the government is clear that this is for the benefit of the children in the bigger scheme of things. And I hear that you are saying that you're not siding with what happened and you feel sorry for these kids, you know, the kids that tragically lost their lives. But these sting operations, they are meant to ensure that these buses are safe, these scholar transports are safe, and that the kids are safe themselves. Don't you think this is necessary? These permits are necessary now?
Listen here, Tina, we're not disputing anything with the government. If they want us to have permits, let them give us permits. Then there is a right. And you know what? The thing is that for a car to get a permit, let's not hide that. In 1980, 87, you don't get a permit. If a permit bought, they only take from 2010. They're old. But when we bought these cars, they were new. But now, what is the government doing to help us in that? We're not saying as Funba Nama permit. Let them help us, like they're helping other Lokunjani. They are helping Amanyama Lokunjani. The buses, they are benefiting. Taxi, they are benefiting. What about us? The disadvantaged ones. Again, they're even doing things. But promoters think with people, parents mustn't pay us what December. They don't understand it. But the teachers are getting paid what December. So, and the fees are calling the why are we being challenged like this as the scholars?
They encourage abazali babheka imoto eziright kuma-transporters mara they don't encourage abazali basibhatale ngesikhathi. Right now una 4-5 kids abangakubhatalanga ngoJanuary ucomplya kanjani? Uya kanjani edepartment ungenamali? Idepartment mathi wenza lokhu uthi ukolota lokhu 15,000 manje anginayo angirholanga December. And then government ina 2 contradictions eziningi ezenzayo kuScholar Transport. But it's a tell us that and I'm not want to tell a ping permit. Kill him can I get this is our livelihood they're messing up with. So I think it's about time, Barma, and then we cannot recover the Maponis on the street. Maponis at some semi trouble. All that will from Mapa. And what want to remember that person went and tell individually Ali one. We cannot suffer our fair. Accidentally letting out that the person did that. We never saw such a hit more the person. Why us? Why us?
Thank you so much for your time, sir. Thank you very much for that. And the views here on the ground are quite clear. The Scholar Transport drivers are not happy with the current situation where they have their cars impounded and where checks are being done. You know, most of them now believing that this is going to maybe take bread out of their mouths. This is going to make them struggle because they are relying on transporting children for a living. But you know, the drivers also raised another concerning issue that has been spoken about, that the cars are old. You know, these Scholar Transport cars are old, but the drivers now making an excuse to say it's because they don't have money to buy new cars, and ultimately those are the only cars they can afford for now, and calling on government really to assist them, saying that it would have been better than if government sponsored them. So from listening to the ground, you can already hear that this is going to be more complicated than we thought it would be. One would have thought that government would easily control this sector or find stringent measures to deal with the sector. But it seems that there will be a lot of pushback, especially from the drivers here.
Neria Hlakotsha doing a great job at bringing out that story live from the south of Johannesburg in Lenasia, where there is a crackdown on unsafe Scholar Transport vehicles. We're told so far about 60 of these cars have been impounded for a wide range of reasons. It's an important focus given, of course, what you can still see on the side of your screen there, the fact that several lives have now been lost due to that devastating Vaal Park Scholar Transport crash. The death toll going up by 2, now at 14, with the 22-year-old who was arrested in connection with the incident expected in court at any moment now. The live pictures we're beaming to you are of frustrated Scholar Transport drivers who feel unfairly targeted because of what happened in Vaal Park. As you can see, tensions seem to be simmering now as a confrontation seems to be unfolding between the police and some of these operators who are now venting their anger given how authorities have responded to the incident. It seems they're pointing out issues to do with the police's vehicle, I suppose, highlighting what might be an ironic situation, that as their cars get impounded, police get to operate with vehicles which they deem to also be equally unroadworthy.